Now, if you're setting up a web server on your own computer, there's one thing you need to worry about, and that is your IP address and its visibility. An IP address like this that starts with 10 or with 192, these are addresses reserved for local area networks, and they're normally not accessible, or at least not easily accessible from someone outside your local area network. You need a static IP address that you need to coordinate with your internet service provider or network administrator, so that you can say the computer that is my web server, my computer in this case, will have an address that is known, and you can give that address out. If you are using a variable address, which is the case for most users with home and small business accounts, you cannot get a static IP address unless you pay extra for it. In addition, if you are setting up a web server that you want to have visible on the internet, check with your internet service provider to make certain that it's legal to do so, because many internet service providers do not allow you to run a web server on your own computer. You may have an account where the internet service provider provides web hosting, and their computer is the web server, and you move files to that computer, but they may not allow you to set up a computer that runs as a web server itself. The other thing I'd like to point out is in using TextEdit to create web pages, I can save this as an HTML document without any problem. But if I come into my home directory and drag an image, notice the plus sign, into my document, we can close this window now. Notice I've got a text edit window here. So I can style this text, and perhaps italics would do for that, and put in a space here. Scroll back up, and if I try to save this as HTML, I no longer can do that. I can save it as RTF with attachments, but that's not going to help me. I can save it now as JF as a web archive, and this is an Apple construct, and it works on Mac computers with Safari. And it may work in other environments, but it's designed specifically for the computer. Now here is the file. You can see the kind of file is a web archive. If I double click on it, I'm in Safari, the web browser, and I'm looking at the page. If I look at the source of the page, you will see this is HTML, the same meta tags with the copyright information and so forth, and I have the styles here, and you'll see this is ordinary HTML for adding an image to a web page. But this image is from a file on my computer. And this is supported not necessarily in other devices, but if you open this in Word, you may be able to save it as a standard HTML file. But because I'm accessing a file on my computer, chances are that other people, unless they are on my local area network, are not going to be able to get to it. So the web archive format can be useful particularly within an environment, such as an office or your home network or school. So that's how you can save pages with embedded files in them, by using the web archive. Now let's look a little bit more at how you can use Safari. I'm running Safari now, but let me look at some of the features of Safari that matter to you as you use it.